All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDO stream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour. I've got some news about what we have going on over the next week. It's wrapping up the most recent Year of the Dragon gift and debuting a pretty hot one. It's the one you've all been waiting for. It's the free loot one, and that'll be hitting next week. On top of that, we got some bonuses and sales happening that I could talk a little bit about. We have a patch set for next week I could talk a little bit about. It's in a in-process state, and whatever you might have on your mind as well. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're enjoying Magic of Myth Drannor. It's been out for a little over a week now, right? And that's been real hot, real awesome. I've been running it. Have you been running it? I got through the whole saga on Kyber, and I'm working through it on Orion, and that's where I'm going to be today, is on Orion. I'm not quite halfway through the saga there. I'm also leveling up a character on Wayfinder that's going to be running the heroic version of Magic of Myth Drannor here on the live stream. I have found a little bit of loot. I know that in terms of the forums, the loot drop rate is one of the bigger discussions that we've been having. And, whenever there's hot loot you want, and it's not dropping for you, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, we've been reading through your feedback on it. We're working on a patch for next week, and cooking along with a raid preview as well, because of the Magic of Myth Drannor raid is going to be arriving here not too long from now. It'll be a little while yet, although we are expecting to perhaps have our first preview of the next raid on Lamania. It won't be next week, that's a guarantee. There's a chance it'll be the week after that. And that's as close as I want to commit us at this point. But it could be a week after next. We'll have our first raid preview on Lamania. Stay tuned, though, for more information about that. I don't know if that will include the raid loot, or if it'll be just the raid, or if it does include the loot, whether it'll be some kind of text-based post that Steelstar or someone puts up, or whether you'll actually be able to see the loot in the test dojo. I just don't know yet. I think it's honestly a little too early to tell. I think we'll know more by the end of next week in particular. So, all right. There we are. I did want to call out the biggest piece of news, really, is it's been out for a little while now, but this is it. This is it, folks. See those wings there? Do you want those wings for free? If you want those wings for free, you got to do something before, well, through next Tuesday. So it's down to the days for you to speak to Zatharol in the Eberron Hall of Heroes to get your blue Draconic wings for all the characters in your account. Once you've spoken to Zatharol, you'll unlock it, and then the Dragonborn next to Zatharol named Estrez will actually deliver it long term to all the characters in your account. But you're running out of time. You're running out of time. You have through next Tuesday to claim this. So if you have not claimed that Year of the Dragon reward, do it. You never know when you might want these Draconic wings. So it's possible they may come back in the future, but we have no actual plans to do that anytime soon. So it'll probably be at least a year or two. I don't know, a year or so at least before we see it back. That's what's up. Real quick, let me put up the sales. In particular, I want to call out that we do have double bonus points happening through September 1st. So double bonus points in the DDO store through September 1st. Otherwise, it's our Store More Loot sale with character bank space, select shared bank, deposit box, plat storage, inventory space, and select bags through August 29th. And we got a hair dye for the free coupon this week. Someone I mentioned on the forums, we've been doing a number of hair dyes recently, and that's true. There's no conspiracy there. It just has been the way it landed. I'm sure we'll do other things in the future. Bonus this weekend is double Mysterious Remnants. That's twice the chance for remnants to appear when you defeat a champion, and that's through Sunday, August 25th. Alright, so I have the 69.1 patch next week. What I don't have is release notes that I can put up on the screen for you. but I can tell you a little bit about what is currently expected to be in this patch. Some of these things might happen, some of them may not. We'll see where we end up come Wednesday when the actual release notes for Realsies come out, or Tuesday afternoon. But as of today, this is what we have down for things that we're expecting to be in the patch, working to be in the patch. If it all checks out in the coming days, it will in fact be in the patch. And that's the plan. These are also incomplete at this point. I was literally spending the last hour prior to going live on the show here today going through some of these notes. But we're fixing an issue in Key to the Mythal with the gargoyle fight that could cause you to leave the space before the objective has actually been completed. We've updated the map and Death Hosts This Banquet. That's a biggie. We fixed a door in Death Hosts This Banquet. It now has a swirly icon to let you know you can interact with it. One of the places we've run into with that quest is players collect the one crest. They go over to the door, but they forget that they need to actually click on the door, even if they don't have that second crest yet. Pick up the second crest and then go and place it. It's a little weird. We haven't really quite done that kind of flow before, so we're bulletproofing it a little bit by giving you a better indicator, including some DM text that you need to interact with the door in order to basically unlock the fight to get the second crest to open the door. We're preventing an issue also in Death Hostess Banquet that could cause players who recall before collecting the icon to not complete the quest. I mean, that is the final objective, but we've had an issue where a few too many people have recalled out before picking up that icon. So now we're going to make you better. That's the plan there. We're going to be fixing a music issue not playing properly in the halls of the Unalglim. Corrected an issue that could cause Ettercap Incursion to not complete properly, making a currently unpickable chest pickable in Secrets of the Red Wizards. We're fixing up Reverse Light Gravity to prevent the effect from sometimes sticking on people. I ran into that one this past week. We're putting in map notes for Book Burning, Seeds of Decay, and Portal to Below, even through Fog of War on the Magicka Mythdraenor map. Right now, if you've got Fog of War disabled for those regions because you've been there, they show up, but they're not showing up on a clear map. They will after next week's patch. We're fixing an issue where 2 rares are always spawning in the landscape. Sorry, but they shouldn't always spawn, so they're going to now be rare again. We have an issue with some giant ruins bats that have 10 times their expected hit points on epic hard difficulty specifically. Fixing an aggro issue with a Glabrazu fight. Fixing an issue where some Mythdraenor enemies are incorrectly dropping collectible bags. Collectible bags. Okay, an issue that caused the shifters Magic Fang and Shadowblade to fail to cast has been corrected. Some typos, some stuck spots. Image of the Druid class icon on the Hireling there is going to get now match the LFM class icon. Correcting an issue in Times Long Past that could cause you to get stuck if you fail to talk to Sir Ildraneth. In Danger at Dunwater, this is in Saltmarsh, we now have it so a certain thief that you saw me deal with last week, or 2 weeks ago, can now be spoken to when he spawns at the Rest Shrine. We're fixing Fred's feat swapping UI to display epic and legendary levels. We're making Hireling AI more responsive to handle situations when a taunting player dies or teleports. The Wild Mage Power and Chaos icon border is going to be correct, okay. Inspiring Bond will now work correctly on Hireling and Pet types. The Solar Gems of Spell Critical Chance will now give their actual listed value. Fixed a couple of tooltip issues. Fixed the Rune Arm min-level for Mythdraenor Rune Arms to be 13 and 33. Fixed an issue where some Mythdraenor legendary difficulty quests had enemies with overly high fortification and fortification bypass. That's particularly on normal and hard. And then we're also adding a tent in the Mythgen Republic area that'll let you exchange 2 Fallen Age weapons for a Fallen Age weapon of your choice, or 2 Golden Age weapons for a Golden Age weapon of your choice. And then we're adding your durability damage percentage, your durability damage negation percentage display in the plus tab of the character sheet. That's what I have right now, but there are some other things I know are in there. I just haven't actually gone through all the lists. But I think that's what we have for the patch next week at this time. And you can expect maybe some of that won't be in there, but most of it should be. And some other things to probably get added to it before next Wednesday. But that's what we got going on. I don't personally, I didn't see in the change list information which rares that applies to that are always spawning, but it'll be the ones that always spawn. Rares are not generally supposed to always spawn, and 2 of them are. Okay, just to verify, once you talk to the dragon, the wings are then unlocked, and the actual wing guy will remain there, and you can pick them up at any time. Or do you actually have to pick them up with each character you want them on? Both. Yes, once you speak to the dragon, the blue draconic wings are unlocked in your account. And then for every character you want to get the cosmetic feat applied to, you will speak to Estraz, the dragonborn next to that person. All right. I have found a few pieces of named loot myself so far in Myth Draenor. So I'm doing personally okay on the loot hunt there, but that doesn't really mean anything. All right, let's head in game, I think, and do a little bit of questing in Myth Draenor. Is there a reason the feats can't stay through reincarnation? It has to do with the gating required to implement them on a per character basis. So when you acquire, if you think about reincarnation as in some ways deleting and then recreating your character, there's a part of the process there that temporarily applied feats, which is, even if it's a permanently temporarily applied, tend to drop off on reincarnation. So that's why there's that mechanic where you have to keep acquiring it in order to pick it up. It has to do with really just the way the system is implemented. So I'm trying to keep a list of the Myth Draenor quests that I've run on the live stream. So far, it's just the wilderness area. I spent much of last week doing that, and then I also did run Ettercap Intrusion last week as well. So that's the only quest I've run. But in terms of which quests I want to run, I think today I am going to be heading up to... Do I want to do... Yeah, House of Song. Let's do the Onelglim and House of Song there. And so I'm going to be heading up there for now. I have been enjoying my time with Myth and Draenor. It's been cool. I've been working on the saga. Like I said, I ran through the whole thing on Kyber. I did actually do some pugging as well. I don't know who... I can't remember the name of the person I pugged with on Kyber, but... You had someone... I went and just hit up the LFM panel and joined a few quests that were up on the LFM panel. And, ran solo otherwise. I've been running on Kyber. Now, that's Armag, my fighter type. And... he's been able to do just fine on Legendary Elite. So I haven't really been getting pwned too bad, which is nice. And perhaps a little unusual, but also nice. And so I've been able to run those quests on Elite. On this character, I've been running a little bit... It's been a little harder to go solo on Elite. So I may drop these down, at least on the start of the live stream here, to hard. But Yeah, so that came up on the forums this week. When are we going to update Caneth Crafting? We do have plans to update Caneth Crafting to level 34 in the future. We don't have a timetable per se on that, but it will be sooner rather than later. But it's one of those pieces of the level cap increase that had to wait until we had the opportunity to do the work.
Cutters could raid, trade, and safely store jewels.
So I don't know if it's going to be one of the 69-point patches or an update beyond that. It may be an update beyond that, just knowing existing resources and how busy everyone is. Serious question here, Cordovan. Who did you get to DM? I do have that information. Except I didn't have anything to do with it, so just to be clear. They don't ask me who our DMs are going to be. But I love who we've got it. So, it is Amelia Tyler. She is you may know her, like many of these voice actors, they have a long list of credits. But Amelia Tyler is most recently perhaps known for being one of the narrators of Baldur's Gate 3. We also have Bronwyn Price, Misty Lee, and Ian Handlin. Amelia does 4 of the quests and the Srinshi quest journals. Bronwyn Price has done some quests. Ian did some quests. And Bronwyn was also in Baldur's Gate 3 in a smaller role as one of the cultists. So, that is the DM voice work for Magicka Myth Drannor.
The Lich leading the Red Wizard's expedition has hidden his phylactery in the ruins of what was once the Gem Cutters and Jewelers Guild. Now you just need to find the vessel that contains the Lich's soul.
That's it. I just gotta find a phylactery. It's always funny when the devs get devious right off the bat and put a trap right in the front entrance. It's always gonna get me. There'll never be a time I won't. Oops. What did I just say? Something about falling into traps. Alright, Froggo, stick close, buddy. I think I'm gonna need you. Oh, we got a couple of crests there. This character is my Dragon Lord. It's kind of interesting when I was playing my, I guess you could say, classic Frenzied Berserker. Actually, not even Frenzied Berserker, but
back when this keep was used as a guild
Fury of the Wild fighter. Armagh, and then I swapped over to this character. In some ways, I think Armagh is doing all right, but not as good. I kind of think that Armagh is, in some ways, doing better than this character in a few specific areas, that one of them being survivability. So on this Dragon Lord, I was really bumping up, trying to see about my tactic skills and stuff, but I just kind of wish I had the higher DPS of Armagh instead. So I don't know what the future is going to be for this character. I may end up TRing this character at some point in the future and go a different route with that. So, like, when I really liked this character was most recently prior, my sort of classic, personal classic, light spec cleric type build, and that really worked for me. And so, now that it is Dragon Lord, it's working fine, but I kind of wish I had that healing back or the survivability of Armagh, and this character kind of has neither, so, I don't know.
With the first lever pulled, the magics sealing the vault door weaken.
Someone is asking whether the XP cap between Epic and Legendary will ever be balanced or will it remain separated. I believe it'll remain separated. If you do a level 29 quest at level 30, you get much less XP. You're sitting 0 XP. I would have to double check the accuracy of that. I thought you got something, but perhaps I'm incorrect. I'll need to look. I know there's a deliberate XP boost that hits when you get into level 30 quests. And I'm not aware of any plans to adjust it. It was a deliberate choice. You get 0? Yeah, so it's basically putting in place a less restrictive version of what you get at level 20. And even that's been adjusted over time now too, hasn't it? So I get it. You may disagree with the choice that was made there, but it was a deliberate choice. So, Titan, I doubt you're being deliberately ignored, but typically requests that things have gone missing in your TR cache upon reincarnation take additional investigative effort to validate and resolve. So, make sure you've got that ticket in, it sounds like you do, and make sure you're polite to the CS agent who's doing the work, and I'm sure they'll get it resolved as best they can. Oop. You're just running a little late there, Froggo.
A large stone pipe dominates this vertical shaft, drawing water from deep underground.
Okay. Oh, this one, that's all that does. So, instead...
The water froths as a gigantic water weird rises to the surface.
I'm playing a favored soul right now, and I'm usually a cleric person, so being a favored soul has been interesting. I have to admit, I kind of prefer my clerics to my favored souls, and I know that that's not necessarily a popular opinion out in the DDO sphere, but it is for me. I have been loving that Chaosmancer, though. That's why I'm looking forward to running the heroic quests on Wayfinder, because that Chaosmancer, not Chaosmancer, I keep saying Chaosmancer, but I'm a wild mage that is chaos spell focused. Anyway, I've been digging it. I'm digging it a lot. I am not aware of any special secrets in Magic of Myth Dream. I can say that. If there are any secrets of Magicka Mythtrainer, I am not personally aware of them.
The water weird collapses back into the water with a massive splash.
Alright. That worked out okay. Where am I going? Here I am. I could have sworn there was something I needed to do. Or is it just to slay it? I thought there was... Yeah. Go.
The lever is pulled, and several ancient mechanisms slowly start to move.
These bubbles will give you a water breathing buff if you need it. If you don't have your own kind of water breathing.
With the second lever activated, the magical gate blocking off the northern passage slides open.
Do you want fun D&D related thing I've been doing? It's been, honestly, a couple of years since I was last able to really do it. But I had my kitchen table cleared off, and I had the supplies out, and I went and did it. In part because my son is playing tabletop with me when he's visiting. And that is, I brought a bunch of my unpainted minis out. And I painted them. I got about, half dozen or so painted. And that was awesome. It was so cool to bring out the paintbrushes and the minis again and get that done. I've been doing that the last couple of weeks, really. Alright, what is up with that one door thing? Okay. I actually, it would be the dumbest thing ever to watch me paint a mini, but I had actually considered doing, like, just a, hey, let's just hang out and paint minis stream. I had considered it. I thought it might be kind of fun. But I'm no expert painter or anything. When I'm painting, I guess, like, I do the best I can. I'm not just slopping paint on it and quickly calling it done. I'm putting in as much effort as I can, but I'm not going to be some kind of Gen Con award winner mini painter. The stuff you see there is just like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be good enough. But they look all right, and they're good for actual tabletop use. So, that's the main goal, is to get them looking good enough for the tabletop. And I wouldn't be afraid to show them off, so I could maybe do that sometime. It'd be fun.
Ripples in the water betray the presence of water elementals.
You're amazing! That really...
Oh, right. I remember this one, I think. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Because one side has the lever, one side does not. Which Berserk cartridge is that? I'm not sure. So I love the old Grenadier sets from the kind of early mid '80s. Those were
The
my
first
favorite
signal crystal
mini sets of
flares
all
into
time.
life as
I
the
mean,
lever
Reaper
is
does
pulled.
did so much detail, and the quality of minis has just skyrocketed with the advent of 3D printing technology. So I mean, it's absolutely amazing stuff these days. But I have a huge soft spot in my heart for those old school Grenadier mini boxes. So I don't think I'm restoring a Berserk cartridge. That's why it just got me confused. I'm not quite sure which one, what I might have been talking about that you're thinking of, but I have been getting Atari nerding it out, of course, of late. But at the moment, I'm painting minis, so okay. This guy does not want to use this box. Get up here, maybe? Yeah, well, I would leave it to you. How would you actually do it, though? Alright, well, we'll do this the other way, which is I will just park them, and I'll survive, because I'll be fine, I think, probably.
The sound of metal dragging on stone reverberates
There we go.
throughout the water as the submerged gate opens.
We did. We wanted to not only offer some new monsters in Mythdraenor, but really kind of pull from our collection to make it as hot as it could.
The spirit Naga uncoils itself from the throne above and begins slithering toward you. The creature hisses angrily. Those who come to disturb my master's treasure.
And what I'm basically doing is just a quick haste boost for speed and might and order for combat. I have a movie cart for the Atari I'm going to be trying to retrofit into an old Pac-Man cart. That's one of the things I've been up to of late. But I've actually been, so I've mostly been splitting my time after work. You know, I'll hang out with my son, eat dinner, you know, do all the things I need to do. And when it gets later in the evening, I've been having to split my time between the two games, Lotro DDO, because on the Lotro side, we launched the new Legendary Worlds. So I'm leveling up a character on one of those new 64-bit servers, which, FYI, is the hotness. Can't wait until we can hopefully bring them to DDO. Will be the best.
You find the phylactery, nestled inside a delicate, padded coffin.
But I've been doing that, and then I've been running through Mythdraenor to just, you know, make sure I'm not making more of a fool of myself than I have to on the live stream. So I've been just kind of getting a little practice in and running the quests and enjoying it, and that's been really good too. So that's the way we did it on the Lord of the Rings side, and we've talked about this on DDO. I know Severlin and others have talked about it as well, which is that there's really kind of two big pillars that at the moment we're looking at and doing work on related to game performance. And obviously the 64-bit server is a big piece of it, but data footprint and character footprint and what you might hear called like serialization, sort of the information that needs to constantly get processed about your character to and from various things, is the other big pillar. So just propping up a 64-bit server doesn't magically solve everything, right? It's only going to make the things it can control better. And then the character data is really the other big pillar that we're working on.
You enter the House of Song, only to find that Ogma's temple is in the same state of disrepair as the rest of the city. Now, to pass the tests Alira mentioned in her note, you only hope this icon of the humans hasn't already been crushed under a pile of rubble. You enter the temple's main hall. Floating spiral staircase the House of Song was once known there is now crumbling from years of neglect. Beyond it lies a sealed door with coloured crystals surrounding it.
Alright. Sorry, I got distracted by the DM voice. I didn't want to talk over it. What was I saying? Oh, related to serialization and the 64-bit server. So on the Lotro side, when we launched the 64-bit worlds, they were what you might call like a fresh start server, right? Where you couldn't carry over anyone from the other game worlds. And that makes sense. It's almost like a hardcore-like thing, kind of, on the Lotro side, where there's an expectation that everyone's going to start at level 1 there.
You'll have to find another way around.
I think we would probably try to do something like that, at least initially, for DDO as well. You know, it'll be... We have long enough before to work through these questions and actually have more solid information for you when the time comes. But it is possible that we would do something like that.
Much more recent than anything else in the ruined temple. Perhaps it was written by the bard you were sent to find.
So, Convaleria has spoken on the forums about the nature of this quest and how it can teach a little bit about music, but you don't actually have to know any of that stuff if you don't want to. So. Ooh, the Great Red Dragon #1 to an unopened box. So I was too broke to be able to buy it at the time, but this was maybe a couple years ago. I was at a local retro video game shop that also sold toys and pop culture memorabilia. And they had a bunch of, they were already painted, but they were complete and they were in the box of just about all the Grenadier models. And they wanted $40 a box for them, which didn't sound crazy to me for antiques like that were in really good shape. But nonetheless, I didn't have the cash at the time, so I couldn't do it, even if I wanted to. But it was pretty neat seeing all those boxes again for the first time in a long time. Although I have a few myself that are sitting in another room. I've long since lost the pieces, sadly, the minis themselves. My brother has some of the minis still, but some of the minis are just kind of gone over time. They fell apart and got bashed up and didn't survive moves and what have you. In some ways, and I know that, you know, this is a bit of a challenging thing to say for some people, but there's a mechanic that's not entirely dissimilar to Amber Temple over in Ravenloft with this quest, which is that once you start picking up songs by interacting with objects, you'll be able to open up those doors that I couldn't open up earlier. Dark Wolfer, so these first worlds on the Lotro side are new worlds. And, you know, everything else in terms of how we might do things, it's too early to really want to talk about because we just don't...
Those are...
We don't want to lead people to believe we might do one thing and then we pivot and do something else before the time comes. But there are several options that we could try to do with 64-bit servers. Alright, I remember this one. So, you start here, and you just sort of look at which way they're pointing. It's sometimes a little easier than others, but... You'll know you got it right because the ding-dings. Oh, okay. Wrong one. Set that. That. Must be this. There we go. All right. Which way did I go? I think I was this way. Yeah, I don't think it compares to Amber Temple, really, other than, like I said, there's that mechanic where once you interact with a thing, you then have the information by which to apply to these doors and start opening up doors that were previously inaccessible. Not coming back here, but we're not here yet. Okay. And you can hear right there, that's the bug I was talking about. See how the music kind of cut out real quick there? We're going to be fixing that with next week's patch. Speaking of patches, we did have a hotfix this week. I know it ruffled some feathers on the forums, but it was a necessary bug fix. There was an issue with one of the
right order.
Intimidating shout where it was busting quests and bosses, making them brain dead. Couldn't have that. Uh-oh. Is it this one? Yes. All right. I mean, I think the slight challenge in seeing it kind of is the point in some ways. So I don't know that I would actually want to change it too much. Let me do another circle around. See if there's any doors I forgot to open before I head back down. No. Alright, we're good. So now we'll check out some of the... Oh, not that door, though. It'll be this one. Oh, nope, not that one either. Okay, one of these. There we go.
Those are definitely the right notes.
Oh,
in
got
the
another
right
statue here.
order.
And we're starting here. Oops. Oh, that's the same one I just did. Darn it. Alright. Try that again. This one. And this one. There we go. These are skills, by the way, that we're playing, related to the room. That much I know. What do you mean summonable weapons with the new level cap? I'm not quite sure what you're indicating there. Any news on possibly putting the Ravenloft bundle back? Within the past few weeks, I brought it up to the store folks again, that there are players who would very much like us to do that, and that's about all I really have, is it's still on the agenda, but I don't have anything further to say. Sorry. I have no idea, Titan, what happened with Shadow Dancer. I'm sorry. But if you've got a significant bug that needs to be dealt with, then please do consider filing a report. Okay, okay, what am I missing? Okay, there is one door, or one more crest thing that I do not have. That would be this one. So, there must be... Just double check before I head back upstairs, but there must be something upstairs I missed. Okay. I mean, you'd think it would be over here, but I'm not seeing anything, so There's no doors here to interact with, right? Yeah, there isn't. Okay. Alright. So if something is supposed to do 1d6 untyped damage per sneak attack die, and it's doing 2,000 damage per hit, I'm gonna say that sounds to me like a bit of a bug, because generally I don't know how many d6s you would need to hit 2,000, but I'm gonna guess it's probably more than the available sneak attack die in the game. So, I don't know what to say there exactly, other than it could be bugged, but it could just be that it was bugged, and now it is not. Seems like a possibility in this case. Alright, so I've hit that. I hit the bookshelf. There's no other lever there to get. Let's see any other book. Let's just see. It's true, there was nothing really in this room either. Did I miss something? No. Yep, here we go. So now to find the relevant door. There we go.
Those are definitely the right notes in the right order.
We do not have current plans to adjust the drop rate of items in Mythdraenor. We have seen some of the forum feedback in particular about it. You know, jury's still out on that one, I think. All right. Nice. The thing has been done.
The door to the inner temple is now open. Beyond is a slender drow woman.
All right, we'll get that real quick.
The other members of my party left and never returned. I might have guessed. To be honest, I never thought
It's true. Belgorod. Sneak attack does scale with a bunch of things, so I have no idea whether that number is accurate. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying, that doesn't sound 100% right to
Here,
me.
in the Temple of Inspiration, I can write the story of my party and why we left the Underdark. Maybe when they hear it, the others will understand. The guardian of this temple is far too strong for me to challenge on my own. You may yet succeed in your task. Go on, challenge me. I have no quarrel with you or your quest.
You feel strange sensations as you enter the heart of Ogma's temple. The excitement of a new idea, the joy of hearing a good song. A sphinx stands expectantly in the center of the chamber. So far, you have proven your wit, says the sphinx.
Alright, thanks, Dark Wolfer. Appreciate you stopping by. I know some people would like to see us improve, or, be less stingy on the drop rate of named items in Myth Draenor. I just don't have anything to announce. I have picked up a couple of things myself. 2 items in particular. I've got 2 level 33 named items that, if and when, Armagh over on Kyber gets level 33. I actually got a couple things to put on. I don't remember their names right now. But I found a pretty good set of gloves. I think it was a set of bracers as well. I did get a Golden Age item, but not one that I would actually utilize. So I might be utilizing that trade-in that'll be hitting with next week's patch. I am very excited. I wish there's a part of me that is like, can I just sort of go over all the items that are going to be in the raid? Draconic Raiders reward box. But then I was like, nah, you really just need to save the hype until
worthy of the idol.
Until it actually
she nods
arrives.
Towards the back of the room, where a door begins to open. You found the icon of the humans. As you turn to leave, the bard waves to you, smiling sadly.
Good to actually set my eyes
Alright, pretty good timing there on those 2 quests.
Go. Return to the elves. Find
Solar
them
Gem of
with
Intelligence.
capable
Alright.
adventurers.
Plus
I'll
4
remain
artifact bonus to
peace
intelligence
until I
in the
finish
Solar
my
Gem
poem.
slot.
If any of my party survived, tell them what I mean to do. Perhaps once I am finished,
Good for this character,
we'll
but
be truly accepted by our Sildarin kin. I think I was meant to be here. The power I feel in this place reminds me of one I have not felt since I left the presence of my lady.
So, the Draconic Raiders reward box is going to be similar to the other Raiders reward box in that it consists of items from raids throughout the game. So these are all existing items that'll be arriving with the Year of the Dragon gift next week, with one exception. There is a singular new item that really comes from the archives that never got used, that we're bringing in for this Draconic Raiders reward box. And so we'll have more information about that next week. I'm going to have an article on DDO.com that will give you the list and let you kind of ponder and consider what it is that you want to get. That's going to wrap it up with Fridays at 4 here on twitch.tv/DDO stream. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Give us a like if you would like to help spread the word about these kind of videos, and subscribe to get these videos in your feed. Thank you so much to everyone on Twitch for being in chat, for hanging out, for helping provide the content for the show, and for being a part of the DDO community. I hope you're enjoying Myth Draenor. Hope you dig the bonuses, double bonus points, and other things that are happening right now. Stay tuned for next week's patch and latest Year of the Dragon gift. Do pick up those blue draconic wings if you want to get them before Tuesday becomes Wednesday, and I'll see you all next week. Have fun. Bye-bye.